Welcome, everyone. My name is Neil Thrussell, and I'm really excited to be broadcasting live from the dungeons of Calgary. In my studio in Calgary, and I'm looking at Adele, who's out in nature in this beautiful location. Welcome, Adele.
Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Adele Campbell. I am a professional artist, and I am sitting in front of the beautiful Lake Huron today here in Ontario and just soaking up as much nature as I can.
Sweet. Thank you. And the guy that's in the bottom corner beneath us, he's beneath us. No, my buddy Jamie, where are you and how are you today?
Hey, what's up, everybody? So happy Friday. I'm Juice and Jack coming to you here from Vancouver, British Columbia. But I'm telling you what, Adele and I, we were chatting a little bit before the show, and I was saying exactly how jealous I am looking at that background. She's like, and it's real. It's not a video. It's real. So I'm loving that. And if you see me getting a little distracted there, it's because I'm watching those waves come out behind you, Adele.
Yep, that's right. They can be distracting. You just want to jump in them, but you can't quite. Too bad you couldn't teleport by now. You could just all come here.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And yeah, my imagination has me in there, but reality, or my perception of reality, has me here. So I was really excited when I noticed it. I've known Adele for I don't even know, 10 years.
Yeah, probably. I think about 10 years.
And Adele was in, for lack of a better term, the corporate world. We'll say she was involved in the corporate world. And then just lately, it's been like a year.
No, actually, it's only been since March. So since right
COVID.
when COVID struck, yeah.
So the benefit of COVID, it got you into, for a lack of a better term, a career change or a passion change.
A passion change.
Yeah. And so you went from corporate to artist. How is that for you?
It has been a beautiful journey of awakening, to be honest. It wasn't just, so I actually transitioned out of my corporate role into becoming an artist in March, but it was because I had gone through some really difficult circumstances in my life that led me to awaken to the reality of the corporate job and how unhappy I was and how my soul was just aching to thrive. And I was holding myself back, and I just decided that I needed to walk away, and just one thing led to the other. And it was just like, hey, I've been doing these beautiful artwork, and I think I'm an artist. I think I am. And to knowing that I am an artist, and so just, it's been a really incredible journey so far.
That's amazing. I've got a question about that. How were you brave enough to make that transition? That's the real key word here, because that's bravery if I've ever seen it, to transition. How did you know, and where did that bravery come from?
It actually came from a loss in my life that was very, very significant. And from that loss, I decided that I had to live my life to the fullest. And in knowing that I've always been holding myself back, but I could no longer do it, because my heart was, I knew that the reason I took the loss so hard was because I mentally was in a really bad place because of the corporate job, because of the stress, because of the anxiety. And so transitioning was just like, I literally, I don't think I had a choice. Personally, in my own heart, I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. This is not who I am, and I need to go be who I am. So I'm still, evolving. I'm still becoming. I'm still learning. So it's still a process, but I literally could not walk through the door of that corporate role anymore to pretend to be someone I wasn't.
Wow. So how does it feel to have claimed, I've heard you say it a couple times, you were an artist. How does it feel to say, I am an artist, and own it?
It's so refreshing. It's so refreshing, and it feels right. And I don't think I've ever felt so right. If that's not even the word I'm looking for, but I've never felt so myself, and so like I was on the right path and walking in who I am ever before.
And there's, thank you. To me, there's so many lessons and parables in it. Like, many people use tragedy, and you have two choices. Tragedy can lift you up or to spiral you down. And that you chose, whether it was your entire choosing or spiritual or whatever was going on, that it uplifted you.
It first didn't, though. I really went into a really dark place. But from that dark place, I knew that I was in a dark place, and I knew I couldn't stay there, because I am a very high-spirited person. I'm a very happy person, and I knew I wasn't myself. So I knew that I had to come back from this. And when I started to look at and take each step back from the depths of the darkness where I was, it was just like, okay, this is who I am, and this is who I'm pretending to be. And I literally, I think the person I was 8 months ago, or even a year and a half ago, is a totally, totally different person than I am today. And in that awareness and so, yeah, it did come, it slowly became, the layers and layers and layers of my heart just started to shine.
Wow. And to be able to do that, to have that real opportunity, because I think a lot of people, we have those two choices. We get to that pivotal moment. It's like we're at the crossroads. We can continue to go down that slope, or we can decide, make that conscious decision in that moment to take that different path. And you simply knew, right, to continue going down the slope, even though it could be easy to slip down there. It's like, no, there's a different route, a different path to get to that ultimate outcome. And you having that fortitude, that belief in yourself, because I got to believe that there was an absolute ton of belief in yourself that you're just going to make this happen. You found that passion and you aligned, which is really the best. How long did it take before you actually really owned that identity of I'm an artist? Was it right in that moment you said, no, that's it, I'm doing it? Or was it a progression? What was that like?
No, it was a progression. It still is a journey, like it's hard for me. I know that I have talent, and sometimes I get stuck on saying I am an artist. It is hard. It's only since March I decided that I was an artist. And so it's been reminding myself every day that I am. And it's been, using those things that inspire me to even uplift the talent, to make it be this progression into trusting that I am an artist, trusting myself that, yes, I am.
That's beautiful.
And I can relate. For me to claim that I am an author, I've written 3 best-selling books, and every once in a while there's a little lump in my throat that says that it makes it more difficult, because the little self-doubt comes in, just creeps in, and to say that I am an author. But most of the time it's like, hey, cool, I'm an author. And I'm very, not from a place of ego, but from a place of self-worth and proud of my accomplishments and my talents and my dedication to my craft. I can go, I am an author.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So the other piece that I know is that we started our show way back in March because Jamie and I were looking for things to help uplift people, to get them out of the quagmire, out of COVID. And this was a perfect example. In the midst of COVID, you went, well, I don't want to do this, but I want to do this. So you used it.
I did.
the choice difficult to choose? Did the naysayers line up, or did you have a supportive community? Maybe that's a better way. Was your community behind you?
Yes, I had a very supportive community. Of course, there's the bollock, starving artist mindset that's out there. But COVID actually, I was given these beautiful mentors that are actually trying to change that mindset for the whole world. That artists aren't starving. We actually belong in the world, and we make the world more beautiful. And so I got linked up with those two mentors, and they helped me in the belief in myself, and and growing into who I am as an artist today. And if I wasn't given those two ladies on a silver platter, then I would probably be again sitting in a different position. And it's funny because the art kind of took me in that way as well. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting journey of growth, of a lot of growth, a lot of personal growth.
Definitely. And that's a great place to be. I mean, one of my mentors, he always says, right, we're either growing or dying. There's those two phases in life. You've chosen growth, right? Growth is an absolutely amazing place to be. Now, we hear the term artist, and artist can mean many, many, many things. What is your niche or niche in artistry? Tell us about that. I'd love to hear.
Thank you for asking. So I am an acrylic artist, and I do a lot of painting based on nature. So I am guided by nature into what I decide to paint. And she really, I believe that I am giving her a voice in that, we oftentimes overlook the things in our lives that are right in front of our face that can bring so much beauty and clarity. And I think we're so interconnected with nature. And before COVID, a lot of people weren't going camping. A lot of people weren't going out and going for hikes. And COVID gave us the opportunity to reconnect with nature. And so that's what my art really is to speak the voice of nature and take those opportunities that we have where she shows up in our life in ways in insects or creatures, and really just let her guide us.
Love that.
Sweet. So currently, maybe I'm putting words in. So currently, you're an acrylic artist. Anyone that I've ever known that's an artist is evolved to something. If we would fast forward in 10 years, you could be some other form. Because to me, this is my definition. An artist is allowing the creativity of your spirit, of your essence, just to flow through whatever medium presents in front of you.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And it just happens to be a paintbrush right now,
it's a palette knife. Yeah, I started off with a paintbrush in March, and now I'm using only a palette knife. So, and I had an interview last week, and the gentleman just happened to be an art teacher, and he said, "You're kind of sculpting, because the art that I do is layers and layers and layers. So it's not just a piece that you look at; it's also a texturized piece that you can run your hands over. So it's got a bit of sculpture to it." So
cool.
Acrylic sculpturist.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like anything. We define yourself. Like Jamie predominantly does business coaching, but that doesn't mean he's a business coach. Only a business coach. He as part of the business coach, he's getting to what matters to people. He's drawing their heart out, and that's the gift of Jamie is to draw everyone's heart out, or to give them an opportunity to express their heart. And Adele, you're using your medium. I use words. You using acrylic paint to do it. Yeah. So we talked about, when we were in the green room waiting for the show to start, we talked about we as adults, I think somebody I don't know who said it, we forgot how to play.
It was true. But no, it's true. We have forgot how to play. We have. I was saying that I have my niece here with me, and it's funny because just being with her and recognizing all of the things that she's that catches all the things that catch her eye, and how much it's just so life is so much fun for her. And it's like, where did we forget that as adults? Like, where along the line did I forget how fun life was? And the littlest things make her so happy, and it's beautiful. And Jamie did say, yeah, we forgot how to play as adults because of all of the things we thought were super important.
Absolutely. I think we believe that we have to take on all these responsibilities. I have to do this and I have to act a certain way because I'm an adult.
Yeah.
We get that persona behind it that says, no, I've got to behave in that certain particular way. And one of the things that we don't see as adults is we don't see that play. Well, that's a child thing. That's a kid thing. And we take that, we remove that, consciously remove that from our lives. And we miss out on such amazing opportunities. Myself, I'm knocking on 50's door here right away. And I still think that I'm probably in my late 20s, early 30s. I can't change that mindset because I want to have that fun. I want to enjoy. I want to get out and do those things. Most importantly, I want to play. I want to have fun.
Me too. Yeah, I love having fun. Look at these waves, man. They're calling me. They're probably calling you too. But I mean, even just yesterday, something as simple as like playing in the hammock. Like I love a hammock. I've always had a hammock, but just the way that she played in it and the way it was just this whole then it became this building to her, and it was just like, wow. It's not just the play aspect of it, it's the imagination aspect of it too. Like, we forget about how fun it is to imagine life different than what we see it, and the reality that we're shaded, where our eyes are sometimes blind to the fact that we can create, whatever we want using our imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I remember many years ago, my family would gather, family and friends, and we would go to the mountains and we'd do a mountain bike jamboree. So we had kids from 3 years old to 16 years old, and we would go mountain biking. But one year, one of Tina's best friends brought her son, who was very young at the time, might have been 5 or 6, and they were reading a story, and he wanted a bedtime story, and she had forgotten the book at home. So, me being very creative, I just said, okay, fine. And I won't use his name in case he watches this. He'll be very embarrassed. I just went and sat in his tent and I made a story up, and he fell asleep. And then the next day, he's going, Neil, you're going to put me to bed because I need to know what's happening to whatever character. And I'm like, I don't know what happened because I just made it up. So we had to do a recap before I could continue the story the next day. So for however long they were there, 3 or 4 nights, I had to continue the story from a place of creativity.
Amazing.
And it was fun and it was beautiful.
I think there's some magic in that, in that, Neil, because creativity, it keeps us young. It keeps us alive and vital. Right, Adele, I mean, you going into being an artist, I mean, that's tapping into your creativity 200%. Like, you're going deep into that. And I've got to believe, when you think about yourself, corporate world, Adele here, artist, Adele here, is there like a radical difference in just how you feel as a person? Not thinking about the work or anything like that, just the person that you now feel that you are inside. Do you notice a radical difference?
Oh, enormously significant difference. I feel, like I said, if a year and a half ago, I am a completely different person, I'm sitting in joy. It's just a joyful, appreciative, grateful feeling that I never had before. Before it was just like, shoot, like, this sucks. Like, life has to, just always thinking life has to be better than this. And it was all right in front of my eyes. And I was just not open enough to really soak it all in. And now I'm open and I'm soaking it all in. And honestly, life is coming to me, which is phenomenal. That doesn't happen when you're stuck in your rut and you're stressed out to the max and you're working 90 hours, there's no time for fun. There's no time for gratitude because you're, worried about what's going to happen the next minute. So significantly more joyful and happy for sure.
One of the things that I noticed is that certain environments, work environments, don't incorporate joy, fun, happiness. One of my teachers, Anurag Gupta, told me that shared with me lessons that we always need to be creating. We are at our best when we are creating. In our workplace, our home life, everything is creating. So part of it is we need to create our life around the aspect of always creating, always finding new things. It doesn't mean that we still have to finish off these tasks that we start. So we're not always continuing building new. We need to finish these. But it's the act of we're always creating. We're always in that place of wonderment. And that, to me, is where the magic of life is when we get caught in the rut. Like, when we can't play at work, is that really a good place for the average person? When you can't laugh or have fun, it's like, that's not where I want to be.
That's not where my heart wanted to be.
Could you imagine poor Jamie sitting in a corporate world, which he used to be, and not being able to have fun?
No, that doesn't work, right? That doesn't work at all, and that's really stifling us. And when we take a look at it, though, like certain employers, I think they do have it right. I'm always going to pick on Google because it's one of the ones that we hear about all the time. My God, there's foosball tables and video games and this and that and cafeteria and all this stuff. It's designed to be fun because what do they need there? They need that creativity. Absolutely need that creativity to have to be out on top, coming up with the newest and latest things. Even myself, I just recently finished recording. It was a 14 hour program that I just finished recording here. It's called my Business Accelerator program. And one of the things I incorporate there when we're talking about yearly meetings is really truly about having fun and how we're doing it. It's stepping into that place where that outcome's already done. We're dressing up. I've incorporated LARPing and cosplay into the whole business environment. Now, I know that's a bit of a stretch, and it's something different that's really going to change that whole dynamic. When we get into that, when we make fun a part of what we do on a consistent daily basis, especially in a corporate environment, I know, it's not just that I believe, I know productivity shoots through the roof.
For sure. Right? And I can attest to that because when I first got the role that I had, I was excited about it. I was stoked to make some changes, and have fun with it and try to, bring some entertainment side to it when I'm doing my presentations. But because, because everyone, is so stressed out and it just wasn't received well. And I was trying to come across as the playful person, but it just wasn't the right space, and you have to have, I think, a lot of people on board to make it work, but it totally can. There are places out there where people thrive, and that's the thing. It's not about, I think the corporate side of things needs to change a little bit, less about the dollar and helping the people that are there thrive in what they do. Because I didn't hate my job. I didn't hate my corporate job. I just, the company was just so not fun at all. It was not fun. And if they had have had that side of fun where I, could play a little bit, maybe I would still be there. Probably not. But, I think it could, because some people love in that corporate life, they're born for it. And, but if you give them that fun, I think it would totally change how the world is run.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. I know I've run some staff development days. And has anybody done the marshmallow challenge?
Oh, yes.
How many you can stuff in your mouth?
I was like, no. And then I'm like, yes, I have.
You're given certain amount. You're given string, tape, a marshmallow, and uncooked spaghetti. And you're required to build the tallest structure you can in a very short period of time.
Wow.
And it's a fun, Google it, the marshmallow challenge, and it's a fun exercise that you get people to play, and it's also very competitive, because those that are competitive, oh my goodness, they rear their ugly head out because there's a prize. They get to claim that they built the tallest structure, and it's fun in office dynamics, because you get to see who does, how the little cliques work and all of this,
Yeah.
and the hierarchy. And yeah, it's the marshmallow challenge. And it's, we as trainers and people, always, like, we need to make sure that we're playing and we're bringing our friends into the mode of playing. If we want to make some of the biggest change, we need to have I believe we need to have moments of seriousness, but more importantly, we just have to have good old laughter.
Yeah, you're
Sometimes
right.
an off-color joke, whatever it is that brings laughter into the world.
When you said marshmallow challenge, I thought it was the one where you see how many marshmallows you could stick in your mouth and say "funny bunny."
That's what, me too. I was like
That's what I
pretending
was
to stuff them
thinking.
in my mouth.
You know?
Oh, good stuff.
You know?
Good stuff.
So there's no wrong answer. Adele, what
Mhm.
would you say was, if you were I'm the person that sort of likes my job, but I have this passion, something
Mm.
outside of me. What would you say to help encourage them or give them a transition? What would you say was your biggest tool or asset to help you make that change, besides a tragic incident?
um, I think the reason we don't go after our passion sometimes is, one, because we don't think that we're good enough. So enough was something that kept coming up for me, is I'm not enough. So looking at that and saying, well, why don't I think I'm enough? Why wouldn't I be enough? And just that belief in yourself, as well, is a huge key. Like, if you don't believe in what you're doing, it's hard for you to get any kind of traction with that passion to say, like, this is good enough, this is I have something here. Or a lot of time, our passion is those things that we love to do in our off time, but we don't take it seriously. So I was painting, and I never took my painting seriously. I just thought it was a hobby. But then looking at it and really looking at how much I enjoyed it, and how I lost time, and how I became into flow, I really realized that this is my passion. This is what I love to do. And so sometimes we don't recognize, also, recognizing those things that are our passion, that could also be, what we are, and who we are, and how we can change the world.
Like
So
Tina's comment there.
Mm-hmm.
It is
yeah,
Yeah, that's
about
right.
following that passion. It is about taking
It
that
is.
that first step forward. And some people might call it a risk. I
Yes.
think the greater risk is
Not
recognizing that you have that ability, you have that desire, you have that drive, and you don't take the step. To me,
it's
I think that's
true.
where the greater risk is missing out on something that you know innately inside, even if you don't know it consciously, inside that it makes you feel good, that it's going to be good for others, that it's
Yeah,
ultimately going to serve that greater good. When you don't take action on that, that's the greater risk. Because
you're
what
right.
happens, I mean, T. Harv Eker, right? We hear him, he always talks about sitting on the porch at the end of your life. What would you be saying that you've missed out on? That's something that you'd never want to miss out on. I mean, Adele, could you ever imagine yourself like, yeah, I just kind of, played a little bit with artistry.
Mhm.
I didn't really get too into it. I really wish I would have done
Yeah,
it. I mean, wouldn't
yeah.
that be the biggest loss of
That would
all?
that would be not only for being an artist, but for the personal, literally the personal growth that I've gone through in the last 8 months has been, uh, it's literally life changing. And the journey of it, and even though in the midst of it, even in June, I was like, did I make the right decision? Like, was this the right choice?
Mhm.
but just continuing to go at it every single day, and just knowing that I love doing it, and knowing that what I'm doing is making a difference in the world, and what I'm doing is worthy. Again, it goes back to the belief again, but yeah, it's significant. If I would have regretted if I didn't do this. I would have regretted it for the rest of my life for sure.
See, and I'm going to put the hat on of many people, many other people, the negative naysayers, that the devil I know is far more comfortable than the devil that I don't know. And I'll use Jamie. Jamie was a corporate employee, and then he went to a life-changing workshop, and something changed, and Jamie took the risk to let it all go. So that risk, what was it for you, Jamie? What was that trigger that said the risk that I don't know outweighs the risks that or the devil I do know is better than the devil that I don't know? What was it for you?
Couple things. Once you've opened a door and once you've peeked on the other side, you can never not see that. I recognize that there was so much more. I recognize that, to keep doing this, to keep being in this place of frustration. And let me tell you, I was in a significant place of frustration. I have these ideas, these thoughts about how things could be better. And I just simply gave up on cutting through all that corporate red tape, trying to get to that ultimate outcome. It was just enough. It was absolutely enough. There was ways that we could make radical differences, much like yourself, Adele. You wanted to come in, you wanted to share that excitement. And I had enough of doing that under someone else's authority. I said, you know what? I'm going to do this on mine. I'm going to make my life. I'm going to make my decisions because I know they're the right ones. And I would never, ever, ever consider going back to that place ever again. That is just not an outcome that I could ever accept. To work for someone, to be a standard employee, that will never, ever, ever happen again in my life ever.
I agree. Good. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So how is working for your current boss working out for you?
I love my boss. He rocks. Short little bald guy. 5'4". He's awesome.
Yeah, I bet you at times he can make you work hard, but he only makes you work with what you need to get done.
Exactly. And yes, he is a bit of a slave driver. Let me tell you, he's a bit of a slave driver.
But the joy is when you follow your passions, it's easy. And it's easy to get lost. For me, it's easy to get lost in writing and doing anything to support what it is that I'm passionate about. When's the last time you forgot to eat, Adele, because you were in the midst of a painting?
Well, I decided to do a live every Wednesday on Facebook, just to mess around and let people get to know me. And I was painting the very last one, and it was the most important one because it was the last one. And I lost myself in the painting, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I was supposed to be live an hour ago." Whoops. But yeah, I mean, I lose days. Like I literally lose. I usually paint in the morning because I find it's the most fun for me to start off the day with that. But I lose a morning, and it'll be 1 o'clock, and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock. I started this at 10. Like seriously, it's already 1." So yeah, it's so easy to lose time when you're doing something that you absolutely love to do.
Yeah. One of the things I teach when I'm talking about purpose for business, right? What are the things that you, as the business owner, business operator, and as your team, what are the conversations that you can totally get lost in, where that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours can go by and you guys are on a high, right?
Yeah.
That is the purpose of the business. And I love hearing you all say that, because that's really where it's at. When you tap into that purpose, I mean, Adele, you're living your life. You're living everything on purpose right now. And that's amazing.
That just gave me goosebumps because I think I've always chased after that. I always knew in life that there was more to what my life was at the moment. I always had this in my heart, this drive to be a better person. So I've, done the self-help, done the groups, and I've gotten something from them all in order to lead me here today, but I've always known that there was more. And now that I'm in the more, it's this beautiful, I literally, I started doing things like writing poetry, which I had done when I was younger. And one creative thing that you do like will lead you to more creativity. Like Neil said, I'm not only ever going to be an artist, because I'm also a poet. I love writing poetry. Part of my art is also writing the story behind each of the pieces, so people understand why I'm painting it. So it's this, it just, as soon as you allow creativity to flow from you, it flows through you even more in different ways. Like I crochet, I knit, those are things that I would have taken for granted, 2 years ago. But now I'm like, these are beautiful ways of expressing who I am. And yeah.
Sweet. And what I think what the central theme we're saying is to allow people to express themselves, whatever medium, however it shows up. Play, have fun, go back to find what it was in your childhood that you love to do and that you may not be doing right now, and go and try it out.
That's true. And if it's not fun, don't do it. Because if you're not fully having a great time and enjoying yourself and losing yourself in the moment, then it's probably not the right thing. And great that you tried it. You can go back to it again. But if it's not that one thing, I think a lot of people have trouble finding what their passion is as well. But it's taken me 37 years to get here to realize that I am an artist. So it's not, oh, I'm going to figure it out today, but just trying different things.
Everybody's reading.
Yeah, we are. Thanks, Tina. Yeah, it kind of just came from my mentors before. Just because I paint something doesn't mean that everyone's going to understand why I'm painting it. So sometimes, I just released a gray heron, and some people might not even know what that is. So it's the story behind it. And the most beautiful thing for me is that each of the stories that I write and each of the creatures that come into my life have all been inspired by a moment that I have had with nature, where literally, if you look at the totems for each of the animals, nature was trying to say, this is where you are in life, and this is where you need to go, or this is what you need to focus on. And so that's the beauty of it, that each story that I write also just comes from a place of an event that happened or a moment that happened in my life. And so it has so much more meaning than just a heron on a canvas.
Absolutely. So the question is, what do you want more of in your life? Right here, right now. If you were to ask yourself, what do you want more of? And that's what I want more of. I want more quality time with friends. I want to play more. This is what's coming up for me right here, right now. I want to spend more time with Tina. I want, just a little more fun in my life. Where are you guys? What would you love to have more of?
Oh, that's a great question. I have to linger on that one for a minute. Jamie, do you know what you want more of? Well, I think.
I absolutely do. For myself, when I look back at my own career, I was that business professional, even way back in the beginning when I was struggling to get things moving, to get things going. The things that I recognized I had a ton of in my life were stress, uncertainty, and absolutely no forward momentum. I recognize that people, they need to have that little bit of help. They need to have that little bit of push, because to be in that place of stress, it's no good. Stress will literally kill us. We don't need stress. We definitely need way less stress in our lives. I am passionate with the skills, with the knowledge that I've gained, that I've really learned. One of my purposes in life, and I'm living life on purpose doing this, is to help those business operators. And there's a significant difference between a business operator and a business owner, a very, very, very big difference. I want to help those business operators absolutely relieve that unnecessary stress, grow and scale their businesses, and truly step into the role of what a business owner really is. I want more of that in my life. I'm driven like crazy. I am obsessed about that in a really great way. It's my passion. When I'm doing that, and geez, maybe it's even a selfish thing, because here's what happens when I do that, when I work with people and they have those breakthroughs, they have those moments where their business succeeds, they go get those 10, 20, 30 new clients, all of a sudden the business grows. I get a personal high off of that. Like they get onto the call or they get on a Zoom call with me. It's like, oh my God, Jamie, like this happened and this happened and this grew and I did this and I did this and boom, it happened. Now they're excited for their business. They're excited for that radical business growth. Me, it's like, oh yeah. Like it's that validation. It's like, yeah, this stuff works. This stuff makes such a difference. And for me, it's literally, maybe this is a bad thing, I don't know. It's literally like a drug for me. I freaking love it. I'll take more of that any day.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so cool. I definitely, the one thing that I want to do with my art, and I have gotten messages here and there, is that I've inspired others to also be creative in some way. I want to I know in my heart, when I started out in this journey, I wanted to help others because of the difficulties that I've gone through, and art has been one of the ways that I had gotten through it. So using creativity as a way to cope with difficult times that you're going through. So I want to be able to have more time on my hands, one, to create, but also more time to be able to use my creativity to inspire others, or help others through difficult times.
Sweet.
Yourself, Neil, we can't let you off the hook without you answering, brother. Come on.
I am everything that I'm the essence about me is sharing journeys with people to uncover who they are and what they're about, finding their purpose and passion. And I just want to have more opportunities to do that. I want to experience more people just opening up to their own divinity, their greatness, because I believe we all have the Gospel of Thomas. You are that piece of the puzzle that I am waiting for. Your greatness inspires me and helps me become a better person. And I want to, not from a place of ego, but I want to inspire people to be a greater version, because when you become a greater version, I become a greater version of myself. In that way, it's completely selfish. And I'm okay with being that selfish in that way. I want people that are on purpose or looking for purpose. And so that we as a collective community can help them. And yeah, I'm back to, I want us to play more, and I want this, like, personal growth people have, that it's all tears and snot. And yes, that's part of it. But some of the best journeys we've been on, for me personally, have been when I have played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And this is something where I think everyone, absolutely every single person, I don't care how much of a business professional you are, how pressed your suit is or whatever, don't care. Each and every one of us need a lot more of this, a lot more of that real personal development. And it's not woo-woo stuff. It's not, just spiritual woo-woo stuff. It's such practicality. Right? I walk people through a certain exercise. I've got a really great tool. It's my Pentagon of Power. And it's a game-changing tool, because it doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're the janitor or you're the COO, CEO of the company. Everyone can use this, and it will help you grow. It will help your business grow. It will have such an effect. And that comes right back to that simple idea of, maybe it's just that the term is overused, personal development. Maybe we've got to come up with a new term for it or something like that. I don't know. Because this stuff, it changes everything. It makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely, because it's a mindset change.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
And
it is.
and when I see world, it's like changing different pair of glasses. When I see the world through a different set of lenses, the world changes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or my world changes. Sometimes the world doesn't change, but my perception of the world changes. You know, corporate Adele may have seen this beach different than artist Adele.
Oh yes. Oh, very much so. Very, very much so. Before it was just that, just a beach. Now it's colors, it's shapes, it's, you know, yeah, it's much different.
Yeah, and I as a facilitator and trainer of purpose and passion, when I'm listening to people, I'm listening for different clues than if I put Neil the web geek hat on. You know, I'm listening different lenses, different way of hearing things. And when Jamie walks in, I suspect when Jamie walks into a business and he's listening to the conversations going, he's figuring out what the atmosphere of this business is.
Absolutely.
So we're going to make an aside. What do you? Jamie and we have a mutual friend. It's more. Jamie introduced me to this guy named this wonderful Australian named Mick. So I'm just going to do a plug here. What are you guys talking about at 3? What time? An Insider's Elite Business Elite today. What do you guys
at 3 p.m. Pacific today, that's 8 a.m. Australian time, we are going to be jumping into the emotional aspect of purchasing and selling, and also the logical aspect of purchasing and selling, and how to incorporate both of those, because it's not just one or the other. It's really understanding what each of those aspects is and how you can provide a ridiculous amount of value to your customers, to your clients, by recognizing where you can make big impacts in both of those.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, because you would think with COVID going around, the economy is rebounding and the economy is changing, and what people are spending and buying is different than what they bought months ago. Different. People are it's very, very timely, because I know my spending habits are different, and that's a good thing, because I'm actively choosing more value for my dollar, more personal value in what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we'll be jumping right into that in the show today. It's going to definitely be a do not miss show today. And we are going to talk a lot about that perceived value as well, right? Are you really giving your clients, your customers, your raving fans a really high perceived value? If you're not, you're missing out on an opportunity. So we're going to talk about that.
As an artist, was pricing your work difficult for you? So you've just completed a painting and the market says that your painting is worth $500. Have you struggled with putting that value on it?
Of course. Yeah, for sure. Because my art is so personal, it's hard to say, oh, it's worth this. When you feel maybe it's worth more, or maybe you're pricing yourself too low. I think in the beginning I did price my art far too low, because I wasn't, even at the start of my this journey, I didn't believe in myself enough to say, oh, it is worth $500, so it has been very difficult, but in looking at, I try not to look at other artists, because each person does their art in a different way, and the value is it really is priceless. But you have to look at the market and what people are going to pay for it as well. But again, it's in knowing your customers as well.
Yeah, because the New York Art Gallery people may pay far different than the little small town grocery store when you hang your painting there. if the
Yeah,
person chooses to hang there.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a perception of value.
Yep.
And I think in anything, any new business owner struggles with that perception of value. Because you will be a starving artist unless you get grants or you sell your painting. There's
That's
only
right.
so many ways. Well, there's lots of ways but you as to eat, you need money, or
Well, sorry, you're right. And the starving artist, it's kind of the COVID kind of actually helped me. It literally everything happened at the exact right moment because everyone had to transition to online selling. Well, I was starting my art business online to sell online. So, people were transitioning and I was like, I'm just starting. So this is just perfect timing for me.
excellent.
Yeah. So,
And yeah, as any business, how to sell our value of what it of what it's worth is just, it's a journey in our own personal evolution.
it
It's
is.
like the last client, like I started out like many coaches, giving them away free, trying to charge $25, then $50, then $100, and my skill set evolved, and like maybe when I gave them away, my skill set was worth the $25, but eventually I got my skill set to where was worth way more than I was willing to charge. And it was a huge jump for me to say, okay, I'm worth $600 an hour, and you want me? That's what I'm charging. And yeah, it was a big personal growth jump for me. And it's like anything, you have to take the risk.
You do.
And I just looked over to my left, which is my little clock, and it's telling me that it's time for us to wind this down, even though it's been a beautiful conversation. So for me, I'm gonna flip over here. One of the best ways to get a hold of me is I'm going to give away 7 secrets to living an incredible life. So you can go to 7secrets.bestyoucanbe.ca, or you can find me on Facebook at Neil Thrussell. You can find me on a website, bestyoucanbe.ca. You can find me wherever you found this video, on YouTube, on Facebook. This is on a podcast. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on iTunes. It's on Google Play. It's I'm missing one and I don't remember. So you can find this and us in many different places. Adele, what is the best place to get a hold of you if someone wants to connect?
The best place to get a hold of me is Facebook under Adele Campbell. I am also on LinkedIn as well as Adele Campbell. You can find me either of those places and send me a DM, and I will get back to you.
Excellent. And is this still the best way, my brother?
That is one of the many, many, many different ways to get a hold of me. Absolutely. You go to the website, check me out. Yeah, great way. Some great information on there. Great ways to be able to actually step up and work with me.
Excellent. So as part of our tradition, I'm going to ask everyone to leave us with some parting wisdom and words for our viewers, our listeners, and however you find this, whether it's a clip later on, somebody's taken, any one of us have taken and used this, however you find this, I want to thank you. And I will lead us off, and then Adele, and then Jamie, you can be the cleanup man, which seems to be where we're going with this. So I'll lead us off. So whatever your dreams are, whatever your hopes and aspirations of the life that you want to live and lead, take the risk, take the chance, and jump right in and evolve into the best version of yourself. and take your friends and family and all of those you love with you and have fun. And with that,
Beautiful. Thank you, Neil. So just like our conversation today, follow your heart. Your heart will lead you to the right place, and don't give up. Don't give up searching until you feel as though your heart is full and overflowing back to the universe. That is where you will find your joy, and where joy will literally flow from you. So follow your heart and your dreams will come true.
Awesome. Thank you. For a moment, you'll recognize that it only takes a moment to recall all of that beautiful, amazing time of our childhood, that time that we refer to as play. Take a moment to go ahead and see that in your mind's eye, and recognize all the amazing opportunities of where you can now go ahead and incorporate that into your everyday. Just because you're not a child anymore doesn't mean you can't play. Go find an opportunity to play.
Thank you, my friend.
With that said, thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Adios.